Am I the idiot for not forgiving my family for siding with my abuser? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Our stories today are from the subreddit r/am I the a-hole. Check the description for the links and timestamps. Am I the idiot for not forgiving my family for siding with my abuser? There's a large age gap between my oldest brother D and I. When I was born, he immediately hated me and told my parents this. When I started to walk, that's when the abuse began. It lasted until he left home when I was 15. I don't want to go into details as I don't want to violate any rules or trigger myself or anyone else, but safe to say whatever you're thinking happened, and he should be in jail. I'm in therapy to try and overcome the mental health issues I've been left with after over a decade of several types of abuse. My family all know what happened, but they all still talk to him. There's been various incidents through the years, too many to recount here, but for context I'll try and nutshell it a bit. My family attended D's wedding. His wife knows what he did and married him anyway. When my other brother M got married, he invited me, asked me to be a bridesmaid, and I was thrilled to be included in a family event. M then asked if I'd be willing to be civil on the day. I asked what he meant, and he said would I be willing to be in photographs with D and be civil to him on the day. I didn't know D had been invited. I backed out of the wedding entirely because how could I even be in the same room with D, and M was extremely upset with me. My dad blocked me because I sent a mean response to him after he sent me an inconsiderate drunk message, but he's fine talking to and seeing the person who did those things to his daughter. My mum has begged me to forgive D, even passed on a letter from D which was full of scripture. He said it's fine because he is a Christian now and told me to go to church. Because of all these things, I now don't speak to the majority of my family. Whenever I've asked them why they even speak to him, they say, because he's family, and they don't understand why I can't wrap my head around that. My entire life I've longed for a close family unit, and it breaks my heart every single day that I'll never have that. I feel like an idiot for being mad at them, because they're family, the one thing I've always wanted, and I've cut them off. It's my own fault. Am I the idiot for not being able to get over the fact that they talked to the person who did those things to me? Not the idiot at all. He abused you and you don't owe him anything. You don't owe anything to the people that are okay with him. Family isn't an excuse to forgive people. Only forgive people that are worth forgiving. He is not one of those people. You can make your own family with people you choose. Choose people that love and support you to surround yourself with. Not the idiot. Your family is embracing your abuser and victimizing you, the abused, by choosing him over you. It appears they expect you to get over his crimes and forgive the predator. Due to their lack of empathy and support, you may want to consider whether you want to remain a part of this family. A family made up of loving and caring friends beats a biological family that supports an abuser versus an innocent victim. Think about pressing charges against him if it's not too late. Hold him accountable. I agree with the comments. OP. You're not the idiot. The word family is used to guilt you into forgiving your predator, which makes it lose all meaning. Family is who protects you and loves you, not who forces you to accept the ones who caused you harm and who hurt you further without any remorse. They are not a true family. They don't want to take responsibility for their own failures, which you remind them of. They're clearly toxic and you are only protecting yourself. Don't let them affect you. What they're doing is basically continuing the abuse. First by making the choice of ignoring what's been happening, then actively trying to make you make amends with the abuser just so they can continue with their pretense of a happy family. I think you should block them all, and anyone who tries to guilt you further. They don't deserve your company. I hope you can surround yourself with better people, ones you can proudly declare to be family. Sending all the support to you, OP. Am I the idiot for leaving my sister's wedding to go see my brother who was about to relapse? I'm 27M, the eldest of my two siblings, Sally, 26F, and Jacob, 24M. We had a pretty rough childhood growing up, and because of that Jacob struggled with alcoholism for years. And myself, but only for a short period of time. Sally was always against alcohol because of what it did to our parents, so she hated that he went down the same path, and they've been estranged for 2 years. I'm still in contact with Jacob. Sally knows this and doesn't care as long as I don't bring him up or push them to talk. For the past 10 months, Jacob quit his drinking and started working a program. He struggled a lot with it in the beginning, but he's making so much progress. I only told Sally about this once and her only response was, "Don't hold your breath." Right, double quotation mark. The incident happened this weekend. My sister got married to her longtime boyfriend. It was a pretty small event that they did at his parents' house with not many people, and COVID precautions were taken. During the reception, my brother called me in tears and he sounded like he was hyperventilating. He asked what I was doing and if I could come over because he was afraid he was about to relapse and needed company. He had gotten laid off from work that day and was under a lot of stress. He tried calling his sponsor, but he wasn't picking up. I was really worried about him and said I'd be there soon. I only hung up to tell my sister I needed to leave. After explaining the whole thing to her, she was still insisting I stay because he was going to drink again in the future anyways and I'm wasting my time with him. It was turning into an argument that I cut off because I didn't want to upset her more at her wedding. As soon as I was on my way, I kept Jacob on the line with me until I got there. We spent the night playing board games, talking and keeping him distracted until his sponsor called him back. My sister has been furious with me ever since, and her husband told me how much I hurt her for leaving on a day that was very important to her. I have tried to apologize, but she still thinks I was an awful brother. Instead of being supportive on her day, I choose to be with my brother instead. It's hard because if I had stayed, there's a very good chance my brother could have drank, and that's not something I wanted. Was I an idiot? Edit. Since I keep seeing this in the comments, my brother had no clue about the wedding. Nobody told him anything and my sister never announced it on social media. Jacob really loved my sister, and if he'd known about it I doubt he wouldn't have called. He quit his drinking and is trying to get on the right path because he hopes to make things up with her in the future if she allows it. He really was in fact fired that day, and that's pretty much what set him off. No idiots here. This was just a no-win situation for you, and I don't think there's much more you can do except give her some space and time to deal with her feelings. You made an assessment of who needed you more in the moment, and you're not an arsehole for that. But I'm sure you also understand how many traditional life events have been missed or messed up because of rough childhood issues and alcohol in her life. I'm guessing you were one of the few family members she had there, and she's not an arsehole for being hurt. You weren't fully there. No idiots here, it's a sucky situation all around. She's not wrong for giving up on him or holding anger towards him, but you are also not wrong for believing in him as long as he doesn't have a history of manipulative behavior. No one's and off for how they're feeling, but you may have to deal with the fact that your sister may not want a relationship with you for a while. No idiots here. As someone who had years stolen from them by their family's alcoholism, I'm so sympathetic to your sister, and I wouldn't be surprised if this affects your relationship with her going forward. That being said, I can't fault you for wanting to support your brother. The commenters are right, OP. It's a tough situation, one where you can't be right. I'd probably do the same if I were you. It doesn't make you a bad brother to your sister that you had to help your brother, but her being hurt is very justifiable. I hope you two can make amends and get past this tough situation. Am I the idiot for turning my phone off while my friend was having a panic attack? The title is terrible, I know, but I need outside opinions. Also, this is a throwaway because my friends use Reddit. I have this friend Mark, and also I am a girl. We are both in our early 20s. Mark and I have been friends for a few years, and he's often expressed interest in being more than friends, but I've gently let him down and it's never gotten in the way of our friendship. I have a boyfriend who I recently met and we've been dating for a few days but seeing each other for a few months now. I haven't really told anyone about him other than really close friends because honestly I keep these private and I don't like to jinx it by telling people too much, but since it's been a month we decided to make it Facebook official. Mark saw this status and texted me immediately asking me why I didn't tell him, and I explained that I didn't really tell anyone because it was so new. He started freaking out at me saying why didn't I consider him a close friend enough to tell him, and why this guy, what is it that I like about him so much because him and Mark are the same age and look similar, etc. I told Mark that I didn't want to continue this conversation and I love him as a friend, but that I didn't owe him any explanation for who I choose to date and that he knows that we will only ever be friends. Mark then starts blowing up my phone saying he's having a panic attack over this and I'm interpreting him wrong and he knows I don't owe him anything, and I stopped responding and he started calling me non-stop, so I turned off my phone for the night. When I logged back online today, I noticed he had posted statuses saying he was feeling very unwell and feeling unstable, and a few friends had actually messaged me telling me that Mark was calling them asking me to message him, and when I replied and told them what happened, a few friends said I was in the wrong and I was being a dick for ignoring him while he was clearly not feeling well. I still haven't reached out to Mark because I'm unsure how to handle it, but I'm wondering if I did the wrong thing here. Was I in the wrong for turning off my phone and ignoring him? He is my friend, but it was honestly too much to handle. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Mark sounds like he belongs on r/nice guys. You did nothing wrong and it sounds like he's trying to manipulate you, guilt you into giving him attention. While that isn't always super evil, it definitely sounds like he doesn't respect the fact that you don't have feelings for him. It seems like he thinks one day you'll change your mind. I suppose you can either remove him from your life or set very clear boundaries, again, and hope for the best. It's so strange because throughout our whole friendship he has been very understanding and respectful and never given off red flags like this. Even when I was seeing someone else casually, he was never like this. I suppose the Facebook status set him off. It does seem like r/nice guy's behavior. It's just surprising because he's never done this before and he does genuinely have an anxiety disorder. That's how nice guys operate. As if their romantic interest is a vending machine, that if they put enough nice coins in, eventually love and sex will fall out that they are owed for their nice tokens. And they can do that for a very, very long time. You don't see the explosion until you make some official move with someone else that truly dashes his hopes. They feel like someone else took what they earned. Their entire view is skewed by not understanding how human romantic relationships actually work. Not the idiot. He was panicking because you're dating someone else when he wants to date you. I suspect his panic was actually a tactic to force you to engage with him, basically feigning an emotional state to manipulate you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for whom you choose to date. You don't owe anyone your time or attention when they demand answers to questions that are none of their business. Mark was badgering you and you ended the conversation only after he insisted on harping on your new relationship. He doesn't sound like a friend. He sounds like someone who was hoping that you'd eventually come around and date him. He's a creep and this behavior is a red flag. You don't need a friend like Mark. OP, the comments are right. This guy sounds like bad news. Even if he hasn't acted like this before, you mentioned that his was casual, so he probably had hopes you'd eventually break up and be with him. While with the Facebook status, it declares that you're official and that his chance is gone, thus he's showing his true colors. He doesn't have to be a threat for you to end the friendship, OP. Things like this expose a person well enough. So, be careful with what you chose to do. Best of luck for you and your new partner.